pajamas include a NASA shirt and space pants.
My legs are covered in outer space.
Hey guys, it's Holly, aka Potty Minifig Pals, and welcome to my pajama party where I answer your questions and we just have a really nice chat where you get to know me and I don't really get to know a lot about you because it's a very one-sided conversation. Like a lot of my content recently, I didn't actually mean to leave it this late. I said in the first episode that I was hoping to do it every 2 weeks or maybe once a month, and yeah, it turned out to be once a month, almost exactly a month after I posted the first one, so whoopsies, sorry. Julia wants to know what my favorite Star Wars movie is. So I think I might have said this before on stream, but my favorite Star Wars movie is Revenge of the Sith. I absolutely love this movie. If there's one thing you should know about me and my love for Star Wars is that Anakin is my favorite character. I absolutely love Anakin / Darth Vader, but mostly, I mean, technically they're the same person, although Obi-Wan says that Anakin died, but anyway, you get what I mean. I love the prequels purely because of like the overarching storyline, and it's all about politics at the end of the day, and that's something I feel like a lot of the other Star Wars movies don't really touch on. Revenge of the Sith is also arguably the best one. The CGI wasn't as intense as the other two, but also from a purely story point of view, it is spectacular. You see the decline and the fall of Anakin and how he turns over to the Sith, and then after that, Empire Strikes Back. Thomas asks, if Lego Harry Potter didn't exist, which theme would you want to collect most? Well, but one theme I've really gotten into since April is Lego Star Wars. I absolutely love it, and I know it's full of like a bunch of remakes and they don't often use like original things and stuff like that, but as someone who's really new to Star Wars, it doesn't bother me because I haven't had to have a set where it's been remade yet. But also, I'm getting all of these amazing figures for the first time, which is incredible. The only downside to it is the heavy licensing fees, which means Star Wars sets are typically the most expensive. So if Lego Harry Potter didn't exist, I would definitely still collect Lego Star Wars and maybe the occasional superhero set, plus all the Disney stuff, definitely that. General Kenobi asked, what do your family think of your love for Lego and your channel? So it's just a weird one. So when I was younger, I think my family really liked it. I think it was good because they like saw me being really creative and like building all these different things and like using my imagination a lot, which I mean is something I used to do with like Barbies and stuff, but definitely not on the same scale. I could tell they were definitely getting concerned though when that love kind of didn't die down, and when like things like the Disney CMS would roll around, I would be like, Mom, I need to get them all. She kind of agreed because she thought they were adorable and she loved hunting for them too. She loved like ripping the packets open in the car. It was like a thing we did. But then this year I really got back into it, and at first I honestly would hide all of the Lego from my dad. My mom I could kind of persuade a bit more because I was like, well, I'm not really going out, like there's not much to do, we're in lockdown, I'm not spending my money on anything, like I want something to keep me occupied. It was like buying a puzzle. Very, very quickly escalated, I'll tell you that, but definitely it's calmed down a lot more now that they know that I have a YouTube channel. I didn't tell anyone at first. I was really secretive because I was like, I don't know if I'm really gonna go through with this and like what anyone would think. And then one day my sister walked on me filming the Astronomy Tower review and she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I thought, you know what, I pretty much just gave her the explanation. She was like, oh, that's really cool, and then walked away. Often mum will come in and be like, oh, have you like hit this milestone yet? And then I'll tell her and like she'll be really happy for me. And my parents are definitely very supportive. My dad, I think, is still on the fence, but the fact now that I monetize and I can make some of this money back makes it a lot more bearable for them. Gordon says, you mentioned liking musicals in this video, but have you ever done any community / amateur theatre where you are? If not, what would be a role you would love to play on stage? So I was a theatre kid in high school, so I absolutely loved it, and when our school did musicals, I was like, I need to try out. So when I was in year 8, I auditioned because our school was doing The Wiz, and I was really, really interested. I went to the audition and I was like, yes, let me be Dorothy, but that, you know, like I was in year 8, I'm not gonna cast anyway. One of the teachers especially really liked me, and I was in year 8 at the time, so not many people would usually get cast in a speaking role, but there was me and one other guy from our year that got cast, and we were the youngest people to have a speaking role, and I had the time of my life doing the musical. I then inserted myself into like a bunch of other musical numbers and was like a tap dancing tree and all that. I also auditioned for Grease and got cast as Jan in it, but at the time I was going to move schools, so I had to give up the role, but I didn't end up moving, so I came back and just kind of joined the cast as like an ensemble character. If I did have to pick a dream role though on stage, hands down it would be Regina George. I would love to do that. One, she has all these amazing songs, and two, I just feel like it would be so much fun to play a villain or like a mean girl. I also really love Renee Rapp, who's currently the Broadway Regina George, and the fact that she's like the same age as me is terrifying. Will Mars wants to know if I've ever thought of purchasing the huge Millennium Falcon. Honestly, it crosses my mind a lot. I really want to get it just to have it in a coffee table. I think that set looks beautiful, and the fact that it's like the largest Lego set as well is a really big factor. Like, how cool would it be to say that you own the largest Lego set ever? I mean, I've got the second largest Lego set ever now, but it's not the largest. In fact, it even got restocked on Target.com the other week, and I added it to my cart and I just kind of stared at it. It was also on sale at Big W in like June for $1,000, and I was really tempted to then. Actually, I was more so tempted by the castle back then, but the Falcon did intrigue me too. I honestly don't think I ever will get round to it though, but I've definitely considered it. F1 Knight wants to know, have I seen Sans's video Simp City? I have, in fact. Sans messaged me saying that he was going to make the video and basically was like, I'm thinking about doing this video making fun of like all of your comment section and kind of you in general. Like, what do you think about it? Do you want to be a part of it? And I was like, 100%. This sounds hilarious. And I'm so glad I did get to be a part of it, because as soon as it came out, like, I was like, I need to see this. Like, I'm so excited. It was hilarious. He did such a great job, and I just couldn't believe that someone like wanted to put that much like time and effort into making a video about me. Martin K asked, did I know what I wanted to work as before going to high school? I wouldn't say before going to high school, because in Australia you go when you're in year 7, so you don't have a middle school. You go straight from elementary school, which ends in year 6, to year 7. At first I thought I was going to be a dance teacher and an interior designer, and then that quickly changed. I would say it was probably around year 9 or maybe year 10, early year 10 type thing, when I figured out what I wanted to do. And I quickly realized that purely because of my dad. I pretty much copied him in his career choice, because he's been working in film and television for years, and he would often take us to work and we'd get to see all these cool things, and you'd see all the movie posters and you'd hear all these amazing stories, and I was like, I would love to do that. But also I've had such a passion for editing my entire life, so it just kind of made sense for me. Chris and Ewan want to know, have I ever been to New York? I have once, and I really want to go back. So I went in like the early 2010s. I think it might have been like 2012, maybe 13. I know for a fact that Lego Lord of the Rings was out at this point, because I went through the other week and I found photos of when I went to the Rockefeller Center Lego store, because I pretty much dragged my entire family there, and it was a lot of fun. I was really young when we went to New York as well, so I kind of complained a lot about the walking, and if I went these days it would definitely be very different. I also never got to see a Broadway show when we were there, because my sister got really sick and just would not go out at night time, which was so disappointing. We also didn't book any tickets in advance, so it would have cost us hundreds of dollars to go. I just remembered as well, when I did go to New York, we went to this toy store called FAO Schwartz, because we found out that you could build your own Muppet there, and I was really intrigued by this concept, so we went and I did build my own Muppet. Like, this was an actual stand you could go and do to like build your own Muppet from the Muppets, and it was a surreal experience, and I'm super glad I did it. It was very expensive, but it's like the coolest thing I have. Like, how many people can actually say that they have a Muppet of themselves? I'm not sure if the toy store still exists, but if it does, I highly recommend going and doing this. Aiden asked, do I have a least favorite Lego theme? And that's a really easy question. It's Lego Friends. 01230 wants to know, where did the name of my channel come from? A few people have picked this up. It actually was inspired by the Potter Puppet Pals, because when I created this channel, I was watching a lot of Forest Fire, and I originally wanted to make stop motions like that in like a very like short, skitty, comedic fashion, with my Lego Harry Potter figures, which I never ended up doing, but that's kind of where the name came from. I did kind of think about changing it when I restarted the channel, because I kind of felt like this kind of bad, it might like infringe on some sort of copyright thing, but at the end of the day, this channel is very different to what the Potter Puppet Pals do, so I didn't feel as bad. Nina wants to know, how do I rank and prioritize what sets to buy given a budget? So I did this a lot with the latest Harry Potter wave. So basically, I took all of the sets and I kind of wrote them all down and wrote down all of their prices, and I thought, right, let's divide this into 2 sections. What am I going to get in June and what am I going to get in July? So there are a couple of things I usually look for when trying to budget my sets. Firstly, that is how much the grand total of the items is going to cost, and then I kind of split it into different sections. So with Harry Potter in particular this year, I split it into 2. I was like, what do I want in June and what do I want in July? And then from there, I tried to make the split as even as possible, and then tried to sort it as well by which sets I would want most / think would sell out really quickly, because then I wouldn't have to stress about that in the future. Of course, things like stock and availability will affect this. It did, especially with my Harry Potter stuff, as not all of them were available. Frank wants to know if I've ever been to Denmark, and if not, would I like to go? I would absolutely love to go to Denmark. I've never been. Of course, like a lot of people, I want to go and see the Lego house, and that's mainly it. I mean, the rest of Denmark could be pretty cool, and I would like to have like a proper look around it, but definitely I'm going for the Lego house. Zelda wants to know which 2001 Harry Potter set is my favorite. Hands down, the Forbidden Corridor. I love the look of that set, and out of like all of the older Harry Potter sets, it's definitely up there with one of the ones I want to get next. I love Fluffy, I love the build, I love the way the set works, plus the little flute as well looks really cool. I really want that. Juggle My Jam wants to know what my opinion on Star Kid and the Harry Potter musicals is. I absolutely love them. I found them when I was in primary school or like early high school, and I absolutely loved these things to death. Firstly, the fact that Darren Criss is in it still blows my mind. The fact that he now has a Golden Globe and it's in like the assassination of Gianni Versace and Hollywood and like Glee even, I'm like mind blowing. I also absolutely love Lauren Lopez as Draco Malfoy. She is fantastic and brought so much to the entire show. There are so many iconic quotes from that show, and majority of them I'm pretty sure come from her. One of my favorite lines though is definitely when Cedric pops up and is like, Hufflepuffs are particularly good finders, and then you just see Dumbledore go, what the hell is a Hufflepuff? Best line ever. I've used it quite a lot of times in Ash's live streams because he's a Hufflepuff, but he's never seen it, so he doesn't get it, and then someone in chat will usually recognize it, and then we just, you know, we're on the same wavelengths, we're vibing, it's great. Ian wants to know, do I play any sports? I mean, he says anything counts, so dancing. That is my main sport, that is my main form of exercise. I absolutely love it. I've been doing it since 2010, but besides that, I did do cheerleading for a bit at my dance school, which was a lot of fun. It was very stressful though, but very rewarding, because then when you would nail a stunt, you just felt so successful. I kind of miss cheerleading. I don't think I'll ever go back to it though, but it was a lot of fun and I look back at it with rose-colored glasses. Besides that though, I did used to do t-ball / softball in primary school, and that's about it really. MN6 Productions wants to know, do I like football / soccer? And if so, what team do I support? So I don't really support any teams for the most part. I just follow like the English Premier League, although I don't really like watch it every single week. But I absolutely love the FIFA World Cup. Whenever it's World Cup year, I get so excited and I always root for England. Australia's soccer teams absolutely suck. So I go back to my roots and I'm like, UK all the way. Football's coming home. I bought a jersey as well at the last World Cup, so now I can like officially support it, and it's the best thing ever. One of my bucket list goals is to actually go to a FIFA World Cup. I mean, the next one's in Qatar, so I'm probably not going to go to that one. But the Women's FIFA World Cup is coming to Australia, and I really hope to get tickets to that. I'm so excited. And the last question from Alex says, are you more of a DC or Marvel fan? And this is kind of a complicated answer. If you took every single character out of all of those franchises, hands down my favorite is Spider-Man. Second to that is Harley Quinn. Purely based on the movies, I prefer Marvel, but out of all the characters, I think DC is a lot stronger. My favorites out of the two are definitely Spider-Man and Batman, and both of their franchises. My favorites from each one are definitely Batman and Spider-Man. Their characters, their franchises, them as characters as well, are just fantastic, plus the video games. Although if you did say I have to play one of them for the rest of my life, I would definitely go Spider-Man. I love that game so much. But overall, honestly, I think I would have to go DC. I just think the characters are so much better and they're more interesting and unique. Anyway guys, so that is it for today's pajama party. If you have any questions for the next one, let me know in the comments below. I love doing these videos. I'm sorry that it was delayed once again. But if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below. And until next time, I'll see you later.